In my past life, I chose Eric Miller, a decent and proper man from the group of orphans my mayor father sponsored, to be my husband. I said yes, only because he knelt before me, begging. His widowed mother was in poor health, and if I didn't get married soon, I'd be sent to the countryside for re-education and wouldn't be able to care for her. He had once saved me from human traffickers, and I thought, fine, let this be my way of repaying him. After we got married, he treated me well, romantic, sweet, gentle. I truly believed I had made the right choice. But one day, out of nowhere, he brought another woman home. Together they sliced through the tendons in my hands and feet, locking me away in a pitch-black basement without a trace of light. If you hadn't insisted on marrying me and sending Lily down to the countryside, he said, she wouldn't have been defiled by those filthy thugs. You power-abusing snake, you and your family will pay with blood. My highly respected father was reported for lewd behavior. Unable to bear the disgrace, he and my mother jumped into the river and ended their lives. Still, Eric wasn't done. He personally tore our already fully formed child out of me with his own hands. Lily's body is frail, he said coldly. She needs a baby and a car to nourish herself. This is what you owe her. Then he threw my half-dead body into a pigsty, leaving me for the pigs that hadn't eaten in 3 days. They tore me apart, leaving behind only a pile of white bones and faint cries. Now, reborn in this life, I married a wild, domineering military man. To deal with monsters like Eric, I needed someone even more unhinged. The moment I opened my eyes, I realized I had been reborn. Eric Miller stormed toward me, his face full of rage. Samantha Lee, how can you be so vicious? Still in shock, I barely had time to react when Lily Carter came running up behind him, crying. Eric, please don't yell at Sammy. Maybe she didn't really steal my spot in the arts troupe, and maybe it wasn't her who made Mayor Lee abuse his power to send me away to the countryside. Lily Carter. I hadn't realized in my last life how manipulative she truly was. Just a few words and she had already planted the blame on me. Eric's anger only flared hotter. Samantha Lee, you can't take out your anger on Lily just because you want to marry me. I can't believe how filthy your mind and actions are. Is this how you repay the organization and the people for raising you? Seeing the two of them made me so disgusted, I nearly vomited. Stop playing the victim, I snapped. You didn't get into the arts troupe because you weren't good enough. You got sent to the countryside because you needed re-education. What's wrong with that? Only by going down there can you be taught by the poor and lower-class farmers. You don't want to go? That just proves your mindset is problematic. I turned to leave, wanting to get away from them as fast as possible. But Eric suddenly shoved me hard against the wall. Where do you think you're going? Feeling guilty now, huh? I don't care. Apologize to Lily right now, or I'll never forgive you for the rest of my life. Lily suddenly dropped to her knees with a thud. Eric, please don't do this. It'll only make Sammy hate me even more. She looked up at me with tears streaming down her face. Sammy, I'm begging you. Please have mercy. Let me into the arts troupe. This has been my dream since forever. If I miss this chance, I'll never have a future. As she spoke, she knocked her forehead against the ground twice, hard. Please, she sobbed. I'm begging you. This is all I've ever wanted. Eric's eyes were burning with fury. He looked like he wanted to rip me apart. Samantha Lee, he shouted. I want you and your father to hold a public meeting, apologize to Lily, and give her back the spot in the arts troupe you stole. If you don't, I swear I'll never marry you. I almost laughed from how absurd it was. Eric Miller, are you seriously this full of yourself? Take a look in the mirror. Who said I ever wanted to marry you? Eric sneered. Keep acting. Go on. Didn't you tell your dad you'd marry no one but me? Dream on, sweetheart. Without hesitation, I kicked him right in the crotch, then walked away without looking back. You still think I'm that gullible, sweet little pushover from before? Forget it. Don't come looking for me in this life. If you do, I'll make sure you regret ever being born. When I returned to the warm, familiar home I knew so well, my parents were in the middle of discussing a good husband for me. 2 senior officials who were family friends were also there, offering their advice. One thing we can guarantee, one of them said, is that these 12 young men are all outstanding. We didn't save and scrimp our whole lives for nothing. Sammy, Mom said with a warm smile, come take a look. See if there's anyone you like. Your dad, us, and our old friends will help match you up. Seeing my gentle, loving parents again brought tears to my eyes. But I didn't let them fall. I didn't want them to worry. I buried my grief deep in my chest and threw myself into my parents' arms, forcing down the bitterness that surged in my throat. Then I said, I want to marry Jason Reed. The once lively room instantly fell into awkward silence. The elders all frowned and turned to look at me in confusion. Are you sure about that? You do realize Jason Reed is the notorious troublemaker from the compound, right? One of them said. Right after high school, your father had to send him to a remote military unit to toughen him up. I'd heard Eric Miller talk about him before, how Jason had dated more than 5 or 6 girls and beat them all half to death. In my last life, I looked down on Jason, thought he was nothing but a reckless thug, and avoided him at all costs. But that same so-called delinquent was the one who dug my rotting body out from that pigsty, sobbing so hard it shattered the silence of the world. He spent all his savings trying to clear my father's name, burying our family with dignity. And in the end, he dragged Eric into a burning building and died with him, taking revenge for me. Now Eric seems determined to get me back. But if I can pull Jason to my side, maybe, just maybe, my whole family will survive this time. So I said it without hesitation. If it's not him, I don't want anyone. I'd rather stay single for life and dedicate myself to the nation's artistic development. You silly child, Mom chuckled. Even if you get married, you can still serve your country. What about Eric? Dad added. Haven't you two always been close? He's a decent guy. We've always admired his character. A sharp, twisting pain shot through my heart. My eyes instantly welled up. It was precisely because we trusted him so deeply, appreciated him so much, that he was able to destroy our entire family, drive us to our deaths, and bury us in injustice. Why are you crying, sweetheart? Mom's voice turned anxious. Oh, my poor baby, what's wrong? They saw something was off and immediately backed off. All right, we won't pressure you, Dad said, softening. We respect your choice, but if Jason ever does anything to hurt you, we won't let him off the hook. The next evening, after dinner, I went to the new house my parents had prepared for me. I wanted to tidy up and surprise Jason. It was a beautiful, rare standalone villa with a courtyard, and I loved it immediately. In my previous life, I never got to live there because Eric insisted on staying at his place to take care of his widowed mother, and I moved in with them instead. But the moment I arrived, I was stunned. The gates were wide open, lights blazing through the yard. From a distance, I could hear Lily Carter's sugary, flirtatious laughter. My heart soured instantly. Why was she here? What shocked me even more was what I saw inside the living room. Dozens of color photographs of Eric and Lily, plastered shamelessly all over the dowry my parents had prepared for me. Bright and bold, front and center. And I didn't even need to guess. Those were taken with my imported camera, the one I rarely touched because I treasured it so much. They'd probably used up my only roll of film. At that moment, the two of them were all over each other, cuddling like glue. Eric looked smug as hell. From now on, this is our home, he told her. Once we're married, you won't have to suffer in the countryside anymore. I've already pulled strings with someone in the arts troupe. You'll be in soon. Lily clung to him, biting her lip in that fake sweet way of hers. Eric, you're too good to me, she cooed. Then she wrapped her arms around his neck and kissed the corner of his mouth. I've got nothing else to repay you with, so I'll give you all of me. The two of them tangled together on the couch, all passion and no shame. I kicked the half-closed door open with one foot. They scrambled apart instantly, fumbling with their buttons in panic. Eric's face dropped. What are you doing here? Were you following me? I let out a cold laugh. Following you? You think you're that important? Please, this is my house. I don't need your permission to be here. Eric curled his lips into a sneer. Why so hostile? Weren't you the one who was begging to marry me before? Here's the deal, he added smugly. Sign this house over to me, and maybe I'll consider marrying you. But first, I'm marrying Lily. That way she won't have to go suffer in the countryside. As for the arts troupe spot, you can either give it up willingly, or I'll have someone kick you out. Your call. His words made my blood boil. My forehead was practically steaming. How could I have ever chosen this piece of trash as a husband in my past life? I gave him everything, without defense, without doubt. You disgusting pigs, I shouted, grabbing a handful of their photos and hurling them toward the door. Get out, both of you. Get your filthy selves out of my house. Don't throw them, Lily shrieked, bookmark. Go back. Lily Carter suddenly rushed over, grabbed my hand, and then deliberately shoved herself backward, falling hard onto the floor. Ow, that really hurt, Sammy. How could you be so cruel to me? She whimpered, sitting on the ground and fake crying. You vicious woman, Samantha Lee. I've spoiled you too much. Eric Miller roared as he snatched the photo frame from my hand and smashed it down toward my head. I raised my arm just in time to shield myself. The glass shattered and shards drove deep into my forearm, and blood gushed out in thick streams. Eric froze for a second, as if stunned by what he'd done. He reached out, almost trying to help me, but Lily let out a piercing scream. My foot, I think it's broken. It hurts so much. What if I can never dance again? She wailed. Eric, help me, please. The guilt in Eric's eyes vanished in an instant. He shoved me hard, knocking me to the ground. Samantha, if you think I'll ever let you step into the Miller family again, dream on. Unless you kneel and knock your head to the floor 100 times for Lily, it's never going to happen. And if anything happens to her leg, I'll break yours myself. With that, he scooped Lily into his arms and stormed out. As they left, Lily shot me a triumphant smirk and mouthed, He's mine. You lost, bitch. I'd told myself countless times that it no longer mattered, that Eric had already erased me from his heart. But in that moment, the pain in my chest ripped through me like a blade. I felt like I was being torn apart from the inside out. I didn't understand. What had I done wrong? We'd known and loved each other for over 20 years. He had sworn that he would only ever love me. He used to be so thoughtful, so gentle, so upright. We used to be so happy. And now, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I collapsed on the floor and broke into uncontrollable sobs. Footsteps, urgent and quick, came pounding closer. A military coat draped softly over my shoulders. I looked up, dazed. Under the dim yellow porch light stood a tall, ruggedly handsome man, dusty and windblown, but with eyes full of concern. His face was both familiar and unfamiliar. I blinked, choked up. Jason Reed? Why are you here? His brows were deeply furrowed, his eyes dark and stormy. I heard you chose me, he said, so I jumped the wall and ran out of the base. He glanced around and saw the mess. He did all this, and he had the nerve to take photos with another woman too? Jason's face darkened with fury. That bastard. He promised me he'd treat you right. Son of a bitch. I swear I'm gonna kill him tonight. I rushed to stop him. I couldn't let him go. As much as I wanted revenge on Eric, Jason was a soldier. Getting into a fight could ruin his career, and no matter how selfish I felt, I couldn't let someone else pay the price for me. But Jason misunderstood. He thought I was still trying to protect Eric. He clenched his jaw and swallowed hard. Don't be sad because of him. He's not worth a single tear. He crouched down and took out a clean handkerchief, gently wiping my cheeks. When he saw the cuts on my arm, he sucked in a sharp breath. Eric Miller, that spineless bastard, I swear I'll skin him alive. Don't move, he said, focused. I'll clean the glass out first. If it hurts, just bite my hand. He was so careful, so gentle, like I was the most precious thing in the world. Afterward, he took me to the clinic, bought the best ointments, and wrote down every single care instruction in a notebook. Then he walked me home, not leaving my side once. I heard him mumbling under his breath, You really like him that much? What does he even have over me? I'm way better looking. Despite all the pain and heartbreak I'd been drowning in, his words caught me off guard. And I let out a laugh, bright and unexpected. It was true. I hadn't seen him in so long, and somehow he'd become even more handsome, more rugged, more magnetic than any movie star. I suddenly felt shy just looking at him, and the thought that I'd be marrying him in just a short while made my face burn even hotter. Do you want to come in for a bit? I asked. The air between us felt heavy, charged with something I couldn't name. My whole body was trembling nervously. But his voice suddenly dropped, hoarse and dull, with a kind of aching sadness. Eric said, You've hated me since we were kids. He said you only chose me this time to get back at him. But I don't care, Jason said softly. Even if this is a fake marriage, even if we get married and then divorced, I'll go along with whatever you want. Sammy, I just want you to know, as long as you're happy, I'll do anything. His Adam's apple bobbed sharply as he turned to leave. I thought I saw something shimmering at the corner of his eye, a tear sliding down. Don't go. I rushed forward and blocked his path. He turned his head quickly, trying to hide his tears from me. Looking him dead in the eyes, I spoke clearly, slowly, and from the heart. Jason, listen to me. I want to marry you. Really marry you. This isn't a sham. It's not about getting married just to get divorced. I want to marry you. It has nothing to do with anyone else, and I've never hated you, not once. That was all Eric's manipulation. The light returned to his eyes, sudden and blazing. He blinked rapidly, breath catching in his throat. Oh, okay. I get it now, he stammered. Then after a beat, he added, Of course, if you like someone else, then forget it. I'll wish you both the best. There's no one else, I said firmly. The only person I like is you. He shouted that last part before he could stop himself, then immediately turned beet red like someone had branded his face with a hot iron. It's getting late, he mumbled. You should get some rest. I have to hurry back to my unit, but I'll come back on leave to marry you. All right, I'll wait for you, I said. As I watched him walk away, his limbs out of sync like a boy trying to act casual but failing, a quiet warmth bloomed in my chest. This time around, I hoped both of us would find happiness. Jason returned to his base, but he called me every single day. I never realized we had so much in common, so many shared interests, endless things to talk about. The wounds on my body and in my heart slowly began to heal under his steady care. The day finally came for me to report to the arts troupe. I was beyond excited, riding my old bike as fast as I could, but when I got there, they told me I'd been removed from the list. The reason? Alleged cheating and voluntary withdrawal. I went to find the deputy director, and just as I arrived, I saw Eric walking up, hand in hand with Lily. Deputy, please take care of our sweet Lily, Eric said with a smile. If there's ever anything you need, just say the word. No problem, the deputy replied, a cigarette dangling from his lips as he lounged in his chair, legs crossed. Lily's a great talent. I could tell from the moment she walked in for her audition. He squinted at her, shamelessly eyeing her up and down with obvious intent. But the second he spotted me, his tone changed completely. He sat up straight and sneered. Well, if it isn't Miss Lee, the one too good for our humble little arts troupe, weren't you headed to work at the municipal government? What, you slumming it with us now for fun? He scoffed. Mayor's daughter thinks she can cheat, pull strings, and treat us like fools. What kind of official behavior is this, huh? Let me tell you something, Miss High and Mighty. So long as I'm here, you'll never set foot in this troupe. I rushed to explain, but Eric yanked me out by the arm. What are you doing here? Didn't you already give your spot to Lily? He snapped. Get lost. You're not welcome here. I couldn't believe how shameless he had become. My face flushed with fury as I shoved him hard. Eric Miller, when did I ever say I cheated or gave up my spot? I earned that place with my own effort. You know better than anyone how hard I've worked since I was a kid, how much blood, sweat, and tears I've poured into dancing. You know how badly I wanted to become a performer in the arts troupe. Who gave you the right to make decisions for me? And then you pile on all these lies. I glared at him, voice trembling. Look at what you've become. You used to talk about being just, honorable, a man who could tell right from wrong. Now you're nothing but a despicable, shameless, low-life scumbag. Eric's face twitched, a flicker of guilt flashing across it, but he still clung to his excuse. I owe her. I should have married her in the last life, not you. Without me, her life was miserable. She needs me. I pretended not to understand what he meant, but he suddenly leaned in and whispered coldly, Don't act like I don't know. You were reborn too, weren't you? In our last life, I married you. I doted on you, took care of you and your precious Lee family till the end of my days. So what more do you want from me now? Samantha Lee, you treated me like a servant, but in our last life, I already paid my debt in full. I owe you nothing. I owe your family nothing. So he was reborn too, but only with fragments of his memory. He actually forgot how he caused the death of my entire family. While I was still stunned, a sudden force shoved me hard. I lost my balance and fell violently down the staircase from the 3rd floor. The last thing I saw before losing consciousness was Lily Carter's smug, gloating face. "Go to hell," she sneered. My leg was broken, completely shattered. The doctor said that although it could be treated, I'd probably never be able to dance again in this lifetime. Tears streamed down my cheeks. Just like that, my dream, one I had carried through 2 lives, was destroyed so easily. In my last life, I had made it into the arts troupe, but I was constantly suppressed by the deputy director and never allowed to truly perform. Later, I became pregnant and was forced to leave the troupe altogether. Now, with despair crashing over me, I couldn't help but wonder, would I ever be free from the shadows of Eric Miller and Lily Carter? Was fate always this cruel, punishing only the kind-hearted while rewarding the wicked? My mother clutched my hand, sobbing uncontrollably. My father stood in the corner, arms folded behind his back, letting out one heavy sigh after another. I didn't want to endure anymore. I took a deep breath. It was Lily. She pushed me. She did it on purpose. I want to press charges. My parents looked at me, first shocked, then furious. They believed me, but we had no evidence. Just then, Jason Reed burst into the room, drenched in sweat. "Sammy, Mr. and Mrs. Lee, don't worry. I'll go find proof right now." I hurriedly stopped him. "No, don't go. The only person who saw it was Eric, and there's no way he'd testify for me. Still, even if I had no proof, I swore I'd make them pay. In blood." Jason's fists clenched tightly, and he turned to storm out, but my parents grabbed his arm to stop him. "You have to think about the bigger picture. Jason, what did you learn in the military? That whenever something unjust happens, you should just fight and kill?" Jason lowered his head in shame. "I'm sorry, I just don't want Sammy to suffer anymore." Honestly, there was a part of me that wanted Jason to take care of those 2 scumbags for good. But after spending time with him these past few weeks, I'd changed. I realized I'd started to care about him, genuinely, and I didn't want to lose the happiness I had finally found. So I swallowed my anger, for now. But someday, I would get it all back. Then I remembered the way the deputy director looked at Lily. Maybe I could use that. Jason didn't return to his unit. He filed for extended leave and even requested a transfer. He stayed by my side constantly, determined not to let anything else happen to me. Under his attentive care, my injuries healed faster than expected. The day I was discharged from the hospital, the military called Jason back. "I'll return as soon as I can," he promised. "Even 1 minute away from you feels like torture." Watching how reluctant he was to leave made my heart flutter. I reached out and wrapped my arms around him. He froze like a startled deer, then turned as red as a boiled lobster. "Oh no," he muttered. "Now I really don't want to leave. Comrade Lee, can I hold you just a little longer?" I smacked him lightly with a grin. Later, I heard from my dad that Jason had made a major contribution in the field. The military was planning to promote him. Looking up at the clear blue sky, I couldn't help but smile. Choosing Jason had made my days feel more and more full of hope. The wedding was only a week away. I got a phone call that put me in a fantastic mood. Time to dig a deep pit. If I played this right, I might be able to destroy those 2 scumbags in one shot. I put on a stunning new designer outfit and rolled myself in a wheelchair to the most prestigious tailor shop in Engson City. Just as I reached the entrance, I heard Lily Carter's voice inside, chirping away. I couldn't help but scoff. How could Eric be into someone so cheap and petty? "Eric," she purred, "I just love these wedding outfits so much. I know we're skipping the banquet out of respect for Sammy's family, but I really want to wear these for you. Just once." The old tailor looked nervous. "Miss, I'm afraid that's not possible. These were custom made a month ago for Mayor Lee's daughter. One of a kind. We can't sell them." Eric slammed the table. "You know who I am, right? If it belongs to Samantha Lee, it's mine. Pack it up. And those other sets Lily liked? Wrap them all up too. Put it on Samantha's tab." The tailor adjusted his glasses and looked at the 2 of them, tangled up like syrup. Frowning, I rolled into the shop and let out a cold laugh. "Eric Miller, if you like my wedding outfit so much, why don't you just wear them yourself? Now take your filthy hands off them." Eric's brows twitched the moment he saw me in a wheelchair. He turned to Lily Carter and muttered, "How did she fall that badly? It was just 1 floor. What's with all the drama?" And just like that, he got even more arrogant. "Samantha Lee, you've made trouble for Lily over and over again. These are just peace offerings. I'm not marrying you anyway, so you won't need the wedding clothes. Lily giggled as she traced circles on his chest with her finger. But Sammy's outfit is really pretty too. I love it. If you're making peace, can I have that one as well, sis? I shot them both a glare. Two dung beetles in masks. Disgusting. Doesn't matter how fancy the covers are, trash is still trash. Lily immediately covered her face and began sobbing dramatically. Boo-hoo. I knew it. Miss Lee looks down on us working-class folks. Guess we're not good enough to wear fancy clothes like these. Then, with a fake sob, she plopped herself on the floor and pointed at me. Oh, Sammy, why'd you push me again? My foot still hasn't healed from last time. It really hurts. Eric's expression turned ice cold. Whether you give them up or not, I'm taking them. Otherwise, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly what you and your precious father really are. The moment he brought up my dad, my heart clenched. In my last life, he and Lily had framed my father for indecency. That got him dismissed, denounced, and thrown in prison. What are you trying to do? I asked. What am I doing? Eric sneered. Let's talk about how your dad died. Let's talk about how he became mayor. What gave your family the right to live such a good life? Shut up, I snapped. My father is the most honorable man I know. He sponsored your education, got you into school, helped you find work. You're just a heartless ingrate, a thankless wolf who bit the hand that fed him. A thankless wolf, he scoffed. All that kindness from your family? That was just brainwashing. You made me think you were good people. If it weren't for Lily, I wouldn't have seen through it. But now I have. He leaned in closer, voice low and venomous. Just wait. You and your whole family are gonna pay in blood. With that, he ripped the clothes off me and threw me into the street. Then he strutted off like a king. Before leaving, Lily turned to the bystanders and shouted, Mayor Lee's daughter has no shame. Eric is mine now. We're getting married soon. You could strip naked in front of him and he still wouldn't look at you. I lay in the mud, wearing nothing but a tank top, while a crowd of strangers surrounded me, whispering and pointing. Is that really Mayor Lee's daughter? She's so pretty. Why lower herself to being a side piece? Did you hear? That honest, righteous Mayor Lee got to his seat stepping on corpses. His daughter must be just like him. She stole another girl's spot just to chase a man, then sent her to the countryside. No wonder she broke her leg. Serves her right. Everyone had something to say. One voice after another, dripping with contempt. Their words hit harder than slaps. I'd never known public opinion could be this terrifying. No one believed me. I couldn't explain, couldn't defend myself. All I could do was curl up tightly, arms around my body, tears dripping silently onto the cold pavement. But the more I stayed silent, the more furious the crowd became. Someone even threw a rock at me. Let them rage. The louder the storm, the better. I needed it. I needed to vent every ounce of my pain and hatred. Suddenly a warm weight fell over me, a military coat, thick and broad, wrapping me from head to toe. Jason Reed had come back, earlier than I expected. He held my battered body close and shouted at the crowd, spreading rumors, inciting chaos. Those are crimes. Anyone who keeps talking nonsense, I'll arrest you on the spot. The moment people heard the word arrest, their tone changed. Panic set in. Then prove she's innocent. Yeah, why don't people say these things about others? We're not lying. It was those two comrades who said it first. Jason raised his hand calmly. Then no one leaves. You all want the truth, right? Fine, today I'll give you the truth. He gently placed me back in my wheelchair, his eyes full of heartache. Sammy, I'm sorry I got here late. You've suffered so much because of it, but I promise, this time I'll make things right. I bit my lower lip. Too bad our wedding outfits were taken. He reached out with his long, calloused fingers and gently wiped away my tears. I remember when you were little, you said your biggest dream was to become a military wife and take your wedding photos in uniform. I was stunned. A ripple spread through my heart. He still remembered the wish I made when I was 5 years old. Could it be he joined the army because of me? It was like he could see straight through me. His eyes were filled with tenderness. Yes, I joined the army for you. I worked hard and earned my merits so you'd see how far I've come. I lowered my head, face burning red. And I have good news too, he said with a smile. Our Special Operations Unit just completed a major mission. We captured a group of enemy agents. I was awarded a Class 2 merit, and the command approved my promotion to a regiment-level officer. They've also approved my transfer, so I can work here in the city. Sammy, from now on, I'll be your personal guard. You'll never have to be scared again." Then, with a mischievous gleam in his eye, he pulled something out of his bag. "Look what this is. Special approval from the unit. It's for Comrade Samantha Lee, military spouse, to wear at her wedding. Do you like it?" Through my tears, I laughed and nodded hard. "It's beautiful." Just then, two officers escorted Eric Miller and Lily Carter toward us. Jason pointed at them. "They're the ones spreading lies and causing trouble." The crowd murmured in agreement. Yes, it was them. Eric squirmed and struggled. "What do you think you're doing? You think being a soldier gives you the right to arrest people?" Lily clutched her belly and whined. "Be careful. I'm pregnant. Don't hurt our baby." When Eric saw it was Jason, he relaxed slightly. "Jason, it's you. This is all a misunderstanding. Come on, let us go." Jason let out a cold laugh. "Don't act so familiar with me. Let me ask you, did you or did you not steal this comrade's wedding dress? Did you or did you not tear it off her and throw her in the street?" Eric glanced at me, clearly rattled, but Lily grabbed his arm and cut him off, tears in her eyes. "That's not how it happened, comrade. He gave them to me voluntarily. He took the clothes off himself. He admitted he wronged me in the past and apologized, so I reluctantly accepted." My God, she was twisting everything. I should have never held back. Boo-hooing, she played victim while flipping the truth inside out. The crowd grew angrier. "Unbelievable. Of course it's true. That Lee girl is disgusting. How could Mayor Lee raise such a daughter? Probably rotten to the core. I heard she stole another girl's spot to get a man and got her sent to the countryside. No wonder her leg's broken. She deserved it." I looked at the smug faces of Lily and Eric and felt nothing but icy despair. I signaled the old tailor with a glance. He stepped forward, shouting, "You're all wrong. It was Eric Miller who caused all this. He's been putting purchases under Miss Lee's name for years, always claiming it's for her or for Mayor Lee's office. He's taken plenty from us merchants along this street. We all can testify." He pointed accusingly. "Now he's getting married to another woman and still wants Miss Lee to pay for everything? When she refused, they humiliated her in my shop, stripped her of her clothes, and threw her onto the street. I couldn't stop them. Miss Lee, I'm sorry. I failed to protect you." Right after that, shopkeepers all along the street came forward speaking up for me. The crowd finally realized the truth. Fingers pointed at Eric and Lily as curses flew. "What the hell is wrong with you two? You stole from Miss Lee, used her father's name, and now you're pulling this crap? Shameless bastards. You lied, flipped the story, and made fools of us. You used us to bully her? We're sorry, Miss Lee. We were too stupid. We apologize, Miss Lee. Please forgive us." Under the weight of public scorn, Eric and Lily had no choice but to bow and apologize to me. They tossed the stolen clothes onto my lap and tried to leave. "Wait," Jason called out, his voice calm but sharp. "What about the compensation? How much did you get from Miss Lee?" Someone in the crowd shouted. "Aren't you going to pay her back?" The crowd raised their fists and echoed, "That's right, you have to pay." Eric Miller licked his lips and muttered, "Who remembers all that? I've only got $200 on me. Take it or leave it." "Wait a second," said the old tailor. "We've kept records." He and the other shopkeepers began tallying things on their abacuses. Within minutes, they had the total. 5,000 yuan. Eric and Lily emptied their pockets and scraped together just 250. They were forced to write an IOU. Jason handed them a pen and paper. Eric, realizing there was no way to weasel out of it, tried one last time to bargain. "Jason, come on. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? We don't need to make it this ugly." But Jason took a step back, expression stern. "Eric Miller, you didn't just violate social ethics. You incited trouble, harassed a woman, disrupted public order, and committed robbery in broad daylight. On top of that, you slandered Mayor Lee for murder. As for this woman," he glanced coldly at Lily, "she deliberately stirred public resentment against the party and the people. Both of you have committed serious crimes against the nation and its citizens. You owe this crowd an explanation. You owe Miss Lee and Mayor Lee an explanation. Take them away." I was deeply satisfied. Everything had gone exactly as I planned. What I didn't expect was that Eric, selfish as he was, would actually take all the blame just to protect Lily Carter. For a full week, he sat in a cold, damp detention room. Time dragged like an endless abyss. Every minute felt like a knife carving through his skin. There was no sunlight, no freedom. Just darkness and loneliness. How had he ended up like this? When had he fallen so far? Once upon a time, he was the golden boy, the pride of the city. Everyone knew him as the son of a martyr, a role model, and Mayor Lee's future son-in-law. His path had once been bathed in light, and Samantha Lee, so beautiful and devoted, had loved him with her whole heart. She had been willing to give him everything. All the men around him envied him for winning her. So how had he ended up here? Disgraced, abandoned, the object of everyone's scorn? While he sat there, lost in thought, the iron door creaked open. A police officer stepped in. "You're being released." Eric stared in disbelief. A charge like this, disturbing public order, assault, slander, could easily land someone a death sentence. How could he be released? He lit up instantly. It had to be Samantha. She'd forgiven him. She must have. Of course she had. She loved him. She always had. How could she ever bear to see him suffer? He remembered how she used to pretend to be annoyed, but would always save the best things for him. That's how it had been their whole lives. In the last life, and again in this one. Sure, now he had a child with Lily, but when his emotions ran deepest, the only face that ever appeared in his mind was Samantha's. Serene, graceful, and utterly irreplaceable. He realized then that the only person he had ever truly loved was Samantha Lee. Everything with Lily had been about pride, about proving he could make it on his own, that someone would love him even without Samantha. He had loved seeing Samantha get jealous, worried, flustered, and suddenly, he missed her so badly. He needed to see her, right now. But first he needed to clean up, shower, get a haircut, tidy up his look. This wasn't a release, it was his rebirth. His fresh start. He was going to make things right with Samantha, go back to how things were. But what greeted him at the gates wasn't Samantha, it was his mother. "Mom? What are you doing here?" Smack, smack. 2 loud, sharp slaps landed across his face. "You ungrateful bastard," she screamed. "What the hell have you done? I don't have a son like you. I wish I could shove you back into my womb and strangle you with the cord. You're just like that no-good father of yours, rotten to the core." She collapsed to the ground, sobbing and clutching her mouth. Eric stood there, stunned. "Mom, what are you talking about? My dad was a martyr, a hero. He died saving Mayor Lee, didn't he?" She glared up at him, tears and hatred spilling from her eyes. "That's just a story your Uncle Lee made up to comfort you. He didn't want you to follow in your father's footsteps." "What are you talking about?" Eric shouted. "Mom, don't say crazy things. The thing I'm most proud of in my life is my father." His mother's voice shook with fury. "Proud? That ungrateful bastard? Meeting him was the biggest curse of my life, and giving birth to a monster like you, my greatest regret." She shoved Eric away and stood tall. "Listen to me carefully. Your father was a rapist, a piece of human garbage. I didn't want to date him, so he dragged me into a cornfield and forced himself on me. I got pregnant with you and had no choice but to marry that man, a criminal, a rapist." She was trembling now, her voice growing hoarse. "And even after all that, he never changed. He leeched off his childhood friendship with your Uncle Lee, Mayor Lee, to freeload and cheat and con everyone around him. Your Uncle Lee tried to help him, but he turned on him, pushed him off a cliff." She paused, swallowing hard. They both went down, hung up on a tiny tree. It was Jason's father who pulled Mayor Lee to safety, but when he went to save your dad, that bastard stepped on him, used him to climb. In the end, they both fell to their deaths. Jason's father, a good man, died because of your father. He and his wife loved each other so much, and it ended like that, all because of your cursed father. Eric's mother choked on her sobs, her whole body trembling. "Your Uncle Lee never told anyone. He covered it all up so you wouldn't suffer. He even gave us his salary, told you it was compensation for a martyr's child. But do you deserve it? After what you've done, how are you any different from your father?" Eric grabbed his own hair, pulling at it in agony. No, that's not true. I don't believe it. I'm a martyr's son. I'm one of the good ones. I'm not the son of a rapist. I'm not a murderer's son." "Believe what you want, but hear me now. From this day forward, I have nothing to do with you. I'm cutting you off for good. Go back to that tramp if you want. But I've got no son like you. You come near me again, I swear I'll kill myself. Eric stumbled down the road, feeling like the eyes of the world were boring into his back. Whispers followed him everywhere. Filthy pervert like that deserves the firing squad. Criminal blood runs deep. He was born bad. Two-timing scumbag. Trash. He wrapped his jacket tightly around his face, thinking maybe that would shield him from the shame. He staggered the whole way back to the tiny rental apartment he'd gotten for Lily Carter. He expected to be greeted by his delicate little lover, the only role she'd ever really be fit for in his eyes. His wife would always be Samantha Lee. But what he saw instead was the last thing any man would ever want to see. Lily was naked in bed, with another man, and not just any man, but the deputy director from the arts troupe, the very same man Eric had once begged for help. "You dirty little witch," Eric seethed. Lily stretched, unfazed. "So what if he's gone? He got what he deserved. What are you gonna do? Raise his baby?" The deputy director lit a cigarette and smirked. "I heard he's got some old mother too. The Lee family's been feeding them for years. You planning on caring for her in her old age too?" Lily yawned. "What baby? I made that up. That idiot believed anything I said. No way I'm taking care of his mom, but I am gonna take every last cent I can get out of him." What a venomous woman. She leaned over and giggled. "Oh, and just between us, I've got a little secret. I've been reborn too." Eric's eyes went wide. "Yeah, last time around I told him I'd been assaulted by a bunch of thugs. I sowed doubt between him and the Lee family until he completely turned on them. In the end, he destroyed Samantha's whole family, crippled her, broke her arms and legs, even drained her heart blood. Then he ripped their baby out of her body to cook it for me." She licked her lips like it was a pleasant memory. "I thought he loved me like no one else ever would, so this time I made sure to split them up early. But even in bed, he'd cry out her name, Samantha's. Ugh, disgusting." She picked up a champagne flute and smirked. "But he's never going back to her now. Today's the wedding. Samantha's marrying Jason Reed. Humph. That woman never knew her place." "I just touched his finger," Lily Carter pouted, "and he acted like I was diseased, avoiding me like the plague. What an ungrateful fool." "Miss Queen of Nothing," the deputy director sneered. "You think someone like you could compare to her? Ha, a country bumpkin like you?" "But not me," Lily giggled. "I know how to make a man feel good. Come on, let's go again." Eric Miller's head buzzed like a swarm of bees. There was too much to process. His vision went dark as a flood of memories surged into him, rage pounding through his veins. Without thinking, he grabbed the sickle from the floor and charged into the bedroom. By the time he snapped out of it, the bed was soaked in blood. The lovers had been hacked into unrecognizable chunks of flesh. Eric walked calmly into the bathroom. He washed himself clean, every inch, then used the blood-streaked sickle to shave his face. He had to look presentable, for her. Outside, drums pounded. The wedding celebration was in full swing. Family and friends were smiling and laughing, filled with joy. But for some reason, I couldn't relax. My heart kept racing, and my eyelids twitched uncontrollably. Something felt off. Then the door creaked open. I turned and froze. It was Eric. His bloodshot eyes stared straight at me, a blood-stained sickle in his hand. "The doctor said this military uniform looks good on me," he murmured. "Even better than the red wedding robe we wore when we got married." "I'm sorry, Sammy. I just remembered what I did in our past life. I was stupid. I shouldn't have believed anyone else. Come with me. Let's start over. I know you still love me. There's no way you'd fall for a brute like Jason. You only chose him because he avenged you, right? Well, I've killed for you too. Lily Carter is dead. No one's standing in our way anymore." My heart sank. I grabbed the scissors from the nightstand and pointed them at him. "Get out. Don't come near me." But he didn't flinch. He walked right up and pressed his hand onto the blade, slicing through skin without hesitation. Terrified, I dropped the scissors. He seized the moment to pull me into his arms, pressing his lips against my ear. "Let's run away, Sammy. Just you and me. Somewhere no one knows us. We'll start fresh. We'll have so many children. We'll be the happiest people in the world. I love you, Sammy. Do you know how much I love you? Let me go." I struggled with everything I had, but he only tightened his grip. "You smell so good. If you want our wedding night right here, I'm fine with that." "You're insane. This is rape, Eric. Don't make me regret signing the leniency petition. Your mother got on her knees and begged for it. Don't you owe her that much? None of that matters anymore. Nothing matters. I only want you. Sammy, I love you. I love you so much. He pinned me down, face twisted with obsession. I love you. I want you. Just as I was about to scream in despair, there was a loud crack, twice. Eric howled like an animal. Jason had shattered both his arms. Jason moved like a beast, fists pounding into Eric's body with merciless fury. And suddenly something unlocked inside me, an old memory, long buried. Years ago, I'd been drugged and kidnapped by traffickers. Through the haze, I saw a figure just like this. Furious, fearless, beating the captors to a pulp. I never remembered what happened afterward. Eric had always claimed he was the one who saved me, so I felt indebted. But now I knew. It had been Jason all along. He'd been silently protecting me for years, and I never realized. At that moment, police officers burst in. What's going on here? Who's Eric Miller? I immediately pointed to the man lying bloodied and beaten on the floor. It's him. He just tried to rape me. My husband saved me. Officer, please help us. One of the officers stepped forward. Eric Miller, you are under arrest for the murder of 2 individuals and attempted rape. Come with us. Jason rushed to my side and wrapped his arms tightly around me. His voice trembled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you in time. I buried my face in his neck. No, you got here. You came for me, Jason. Thank God you came. I don't even know how to thank you. Then give me your heart, he whispered. Sammy, I want you to fall in love with me. I've dreamed of that day. He looked into my eyes with such intensity, so much love brimming in his gaze. My eyes stung. I couldn't stop myself. I leaned in closer. I leaned in and gently kissed his lips. The wedding took place as planned. Surrounded by blessings and smiling faces, Jason and I were officially married. That night, I locked him out in the courtyard and wouldn't let him into the bedroom. I folded my arms and demanded an explanation. Why do people say you have messy relationships with women? That you hit them? Jason looked like he was about to cry. It's not what it sounds like. We were on a special undercover mission. The organization made us pose as couples to investigate enemy spies. A few of my teammates had to cross-dress as women, but once they got in costume, they kept trying to kiss me. I thought it was disgusting, so I beat the crap out of them. Comrade leader, he pleaded dramatically. I'm innocent. Please let me in. I don't want to sleep alone on our wedding night. I couldn't help it. I burst out laughing, but before I could even reach for the door, he swooped me into his arms. Thanks for trusting me, leader, he whispered. And here's more good news. The military hospital in the capital says your leg can fully recover. We'll head there for treatment in a few days. I already spoke with the head of the arts troupe. He said your placement has always been held open. You can return whenever you're ready. Overwhelmed with joy, I kissed Jason again and again, but that just completely set him off. The night was long and tender. Inside the house, the air was thick with warmth, love, and endless happiness. Months passed before I heard anything about Eric Miller again. Right before his execution, he requested to see me one last time. Of course, I didn't go. After he was executed, someone brought me a letter he had left behind. If there's another life, I swear I'll love only you, trust only you. When I'm reborn, I'll come back to be with you, and only you. I rolled my eyes and tossed the letter straight into the trash. But unfortunately, Jason saw it. He was furious with jealousy, like 1,000 vinegar jars exploding at once. And for the next 60-some years of our happy silver-haired marriage, no matter how old we got, he made me promise over and over again. In every lifetime, in every world, I'd love only him.